to Milwaukee down the scenic path. There are many attractions in the Milwaukee area. Most people, however, don't know of the vast park system in and around the city. It all started in 1907. There were parks in the city at that time, of course, but they would now be combined into the Milwaukee County Park System. Time has passed, and the city now has over 140 parks covering over 14,000 acres. From the domes of Mitchell Park to the sandy shores of Bradford Beach, the Milwaukee County Park System is something to be marveled at. Now, you may or may not know this, but Bradford Beach is one of Milwaukee's most popular places to be on a sunny summer afternoon. Many times during the summer, Bradford Beach is home to many volleyball tournaments and even a few music festivals. Now, Bradford Beach may be one of the system's most popular parks, but there are a few others that show up on Milwaukee's scenic side. Let's head over to Whitnall Park to see what nature has in store for us. Hello and welcome to the Botanical Gardens here at Whitnall Park in Milwaukee. I'm joined here with Shirley. Shirley, we're observing some wonderful scenery here. Can you tell us about when the Botanical Gardens started here?
Well, the Botanical Gardens are all part of Whitnall Park, and Whitnall Park was started, or the farmland was purchased in the early 1900s by Charles Whitnall, or by the Milwaukee County. Charles Whitnall was known as the father of the county park system, and at that time he talked the county commissioners into purchasing land out on the outskirts of the county, and he purchased about 9 different farms. But at the time they didn't have the money to develop them. So when the Depression came along in the 1930s, then they were able to develop this area. And Alfred Werner drew up the plans. He was the landscape architect for the Milwaukee County Parks. And he developed this garden to look like the style of an English country garden. And so he has long vistas and long views. He also engaged John Voight, who then was like the sergeant of arms or the head of the CCC camp here for Camp Whitnall. And they built the Whitnall Park as well as many dams and areas in this area.
Can you tell us more about what else we can find here in Whitnall Park?
Well, in Whitnall Park, we have the golf course. We also have the Weir Nature Center, and then there's Botanical Gardens, as well as many trails that are located throughout the area. So we're kind of got a little bit of everything.
So what makes this area special? When you talk about like a lot of Milwaukee County parks around the county, what makes this place special?
Well, Whitnall Park is the largest park in Milwaukee County. We're over 600 acres. And like I said, you can come to the Botanical Gardens and see plants that will grow in your backyard or in your home, plants that are hardy here. And we try to keep up with the newest and latest cultivars. You can go over to the Nature Center and get a whole array of native plants, walk through natural areas that they've preserved. You can walk through a prairie, oak savanna, a wetland. There's just so much diversity in this park that if you're a nature lover, you can find something that suits you. Well, the gardens have evolved over time. In the last 73 years is when we've been here. We opened in 1939. The building that's just on the side of us, the new Education and Visitor Center, was put up in 2001. We've added in the 1950s, the herb garden was added, the trial garden was added. In the trial gardens, we trial different plants that breeders from across the country want to try and see how they do in our area. And we do a lot with the All-America selections as far as choosing what's the best of the best, as well as different seed companies from around the country that will send us seed. And some of it will just have a number, some may be, and they'll be comparing it to things that are already out on the market. We also work with some different rose companies, and right now we're doing a trial called Earthkind Roses, trying to see what roses do best, where you can use the least amount of chemicals. There's just so much out there. I just think Whitnall Park is a special place within the park system. There's so much to do out here between the botanical gardens, the nature center, the golf course, the trails. It's just a wonderful place to come and spend an afternoon, a day. The Oak Leaf Bike Trail goes through this area. There's a loop, and so there's something to do for everyone. And it changes so much that you need to come back often.
Well, thank you, Shirley, and we certainly will visit as often as we can. It's such a beautiful place here. Let's see where we head next, down the scenic path. Our next stop down the scenic path is Mitchell Park. It was one of the first pieces of land acquired by the park system in 1890. It was home to the Milwaukee Conservatory until 1955. Today, however, Mitchell Park is better known for the domes. Let's go ahead and take a look inside. Our first stop on a tour of Mitchell Park is the first dome that was built on this land, the Show Dome. Let's go ahead and see what's on display inside. Oh, look who it is. It's our good friend Sandy. How are you?
Very good. Welcome to the domes, Victor.
Thank you very much. It is so lovely in here.
Thank you. This is our springtime tour, and this is Tulip Mania, which is our seasonal floral show.
Okay, can we explore around?
We absolutely can. Let's take a walk.
Now this is a very interesting piece here. Can you tell us about the history of right here?
Absolutely. We're standing on a bit of a historical site. This picture reflects the original conservatory from 1898. So as you can see, there were sunken gardens, and we've taken some of those original elements and brought them right here. We're standing on the original 110 plus years pavers that were in the original greenhouse, along with the lion fountainhead you'll see that's in the picture, and Cyril Kulnick wrought iron gates, which are pretty spectacular when you think about the history. These domes evolved through a design contest in the late 50s. So 1961 construction was started, and the original architect, Donald Grebe, won the design, moved forward with the three domes that stand here now today.
Well, that's definitely some amazing history. Why don't we go see what makes the Show Dome unique?
Absolutely, let's go.
So I understand that the Show Dome changes year-round. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This is the seasonal show dome, as I mentioned. And this circle here is an 80-foot diameter. And so we're looking at spring flowers now, but these are all going to be switched out to summer, fall mums, holiday poinsettias. Then we do our most popular show, and that is the train show. Wow. We put 3 or 4 different tracks in here with G-scale trains, and then plant many miniature plants around it, and that's really our big show, and that happens in the middle of winter. Then we're back to spring again, so 5 seasonal shows all happen in this area right where we're standing.
And definitely in Milwaukee weather, it's definitely an attraction.
Perfect. Lots of people come. Winter is really a big time for us because people are looking for the experience of flowers and plants and gardens, just to get out of that outside weather and come in where they can, as you said, smell the flowers. So
a sanctuary in winter. Now, many people can see the domes from a far distance, and they see the lights. Can you tell us about the light system here?
Yeah, the lights are phenomenal. This was an initiative that was underwritten by a private philanthropist a couple of years ago. And if you look closely at each of the cross sections in the dome, you'll see an LED light. Those lights can be programmed to be any color we'd like, or they can pulsate to the live music we have on the stage right across from where we're standing. During the winter, from November to March, we have live concerts every Thursday night. So it's a great way to come in, experience the domes in winter at night with all the specialty lighting. It's a fun way to spend a night.
Well, we've experienced a lovely Show Dome. Let's go on to the next one, the Desert Dome.
Let's go. Let's head to the desert.
Okay. And this is the Desert Dome. What can you tell us about this place?
Well, this is an amazing place, not just because of the climate in here, but also the specimens of plants we have in here. I think I was talking before about the installation of some of these plants that go back to 40+ years. So typically in nature you would not see this kind of specimen, the size, because they're pretty much ravaged by weather or animals in Mother Nature's world. So here they have optimum of everything, the water, the light, so they grow to proportions that typically people don't see in nature. We have several collections in here, Madagascar being our most famous, that are worth tens of thousands of dollars.
Wow.
So, and I also like to tell people that a lot of times kids don't get to see these plants. They often don't take vacations, they often don't leave the state or go to the desert, so they're unaware that some of these plants even exist. Some kids call this the Dr. Seuss dome.
There's definitely some spectacular specimens here. Can we go explore and see some more?
Let's go. Let's walk down the path.
Okay. Really amazing. You're kind of transported into a different world here. Can you tell us about some of these collections?
Absolutely. Some of these are the most popular with the kids because these are the plants. These specimens were here when the dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Wow.
So kids love to visualize the fact that when there were dinosaurs, these plants existed. So there's some great examples of plants that kids would never see if it had not been for a conservatory.
Absolutely.
Part
And
of our
how does the maintenance of these plants go?
Well, everyone thinks, oh, they're desert plants, you don't need to. They do require care. They require pruning just like any other growing plant.
Okay.
And a watering system that is timed. So because we're a conservatory, we have wonderful standard practices to keep these as long growing as possible. So they don't just take care of themselves. A lot of people think, that just grows forever. It doesn't. It requires a horticulturalist to really work with it.
Yeah.
And we do have a staff of 5 horticulturalists here at the domes that oversee all of our collections.
Oh, that is amazing. And this specimen right here is something out of a Dr. Seuss book. Can you tell us about this one?
True. When we talk about Dr. Seuss, and I may have been mentioning the kids that come here that don't get a chance to see these plants.
Yeah.
And this is the one that looks so crazy. This is the one where people are just a little intimidated, a little afraid, or they think it's fake. It is not. This has been pruned quite heavily. In the last year, we took off more than 60% of what you see.
Wow.
It was getting just a little too healthy and scary. So.
Oh, that is amazing.
Candelabra tree is the nickname for it. It's not the Latin version, but a candelabra tree, and you can see why it gets its name.
Let's keep exploring.
All right, let's keep going. Oh, listen, do you really want to see something cool?
I sure do.
It's hard to see. You'll have to move in here.
Okay.
This area here, if you look very closely, you'll see living stones. They're live plants that look just like stones.
Really?
You can walk right past them and not even see them. Look real carefully, there's quite a few in there.
That is insane. And do they have roots?
Very shallow root system because of course you're in the desert, you're in an arid climate where there's not a lot of depth to the soil, so the plants learn to do with very little resources, and they thrive on it.
Wow, definitely fools a lot of people, and I bet a lot of animals out in the desert too.
Well, there is. The kids love this. The kids love looking at things that look like something else. And who'd have thought that a living plant could look like a stone?
Yeah, nature is wonderful. Like
exactly.
That. Oh, let's keep going.
Let's move on. I've got a bird of paradise over here you might want to see.
Okay. Now, these are absolutely gorgeous. Like,
aren't these great? You know, the thing is that a lot of people think the desert is all plants that look like they're dead or dying. The plants come alive, and we're just now heading into the season where the plants will start blooming, and this dome will just be alive with color. This is one of my favorites, bird of paradise, and it's most recognizable to people. There are a couple of different varieties, but this is the arid version.
Okay.
I see a lot of these in plant exhibits and displays, but it's a pretty unusual flower, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and they actually look like birds.
Exactly.
If you look closely, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, this dome is definitely spectacular. What else can you offer us?
Well, I'll tell you what, let's take a little trip to Costa Rica.
Oh,
a rainforest. How do you like rainforest?
You know what? I'll take a free vacation any day.
Let's go, it's cheap.
Wow. Yeah, that is vastly different than the desert.
It is wonderful, isn't it? The humidity, the moisture, it fills up your lungs, the smells. It's like...
So this is the tropical dome. very, very different. What can you tell us about this wonderful green place here?
This is a terrific environment, and really a lot of people call it the food dome because this is where all the food is.
Really?
We're going to be looking at some things as we go down the path, grapefruit for one, and right behind me is probably one of the most famous food sources for people, and that's chocolate.
Oh, wow.
So that's a cacao tree. You can see all the pods, the cocoa pods on the tree itself.
Absolutely.
People connect with chocolate
Absolutely.
very easily.
But many people can. Then you have grapefruit.
Grapefruit, we have lemons, we have oranges in here, we have bananas. So if anything happens, this is the dome to run to because
For Armageddon, this is the bunker.
absolutely, this is the sustainable dome. But as you can tell, it is just lush and it just has a whole different feel than the rest of the dome.
Absolutely, lots of greens. I hear there are orchids here too, so
We do have an orchid
too?
collection, which is pretty amazing.
Let's discover those too.
Let's meander down the path. This is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
This is where we stage a lot of our orchids and epiphytes. And you can see many of them range from the tiniest of things to the most exotic of flowers.
Very beautiful flowers.
It's a work of art when you really look closely at how intricate those flowers are.
Absolutely.
We can go from this and we can go all the way up to this tree,
Okay.
an ipe tree, and that grows about 22 feet a year.
Wow.
It's a part of the Cate family, and we can literally seem to watch that tree grow every day. So that requires some aggressive pruning or it would go right through the roof of the conservatory.
Probably.
Standing here, I can see oranges. Can you see the bananas?
I can.
And some fabulous lemons.
Well, that's definitely a lot of fruit in here. Now, what's that sound I hear over there?
Well, every good rainforest has a waterfall. What you hear is our 30-foot waterfall right down the path.
Really? Let's go see it.
Let's take a look.
Oh, wow, this is a very lovely waterfall here.
Amazing place, isn't it?
Has it always been here?
It has. That's part of the original scheme of the
Okay.
domes. That was part of the original design. And so were the pathways as well. And of course, again, what would a rainforest be without water and fish and birds?
Yeah, absolutely. It is simply spectacular here. Thank you so much for showing us around this really wonderful Milwaukee landmark.
Oh, it's not a problem. It's, as you said, it's a landmark. It's an icon for Milwaukee County parks, and people love it. More than 200,000 people come through these domes every year, and that's pretty amazing. So we're happy to be here, and we love. Come back to the domes.
Yeah, I certainly will. You made me a fan of it right here with this tour.
Excellent.
Well, thank you again so much, Sandy, for showing us this marvelous place here. And I'll let you go back to Tenia because it takes a lot of care and we show a lot of love and care for it.
Thanks so much for visiting us today, and come on back.
Thank you. I definitely will. Well, as we've seen, Milwaukee County parks have many ways for you to explore nature in all its glory. One of those ways is through its many trails. Well, one of those trails is found in Grant Park. Let's go take a look. Now, before we go on our hike, I wanted to show you the clubhouse here. It was originally built as a farmhouse in 1870 by Horace Fowle. Over a century later, it was converted into what is today the Grant Park Clubhouse. Now, on our tour of the Milwaukee County Park System, we've had the opportunity to visit 3 spectacular places and talk to some of the people who look after them. But there's one person in particular who looks over all the parks in Milwaukee County. And she is here today to tell us why the Milwaukee County Park System is such a great place to experience. Sue, thank you so much for joining us and taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. Yeah. Can you tell us about the process of why and how you became the Parks Director?
Scott Walker had offered me the position here in Milwaukee County. I'd said no several times, but I grew up here, you know, and at the end of the day, I decided to accept the position. We set some very lofty goals, and we said, let's go get them. And so I've been here about 9 years now, and I just absolutely love it. It's, you know, I didn't think I'd end up back at my hometown, but now it's a labor of love. You know, I'm a perfectionist and I always want more, so just talk to my staff, you know. But my heart's in the right place, and you're doing it for the community because I really want to make, you know, Milwaukee County the best it can be. On the awards, we've won a lot. Personally, I've won awards. The department has won awards. My staff has won awards. Like even Guy Smith, he's my chief of operations. He won National Young Professional of the Year. So as much as it feels good when somebody gives me something, that's good. But when I see somebody on my staff get one or the team gets one, that means a lot. Not saying that I don't respect the ones that we've gotten, but the list it's pretty long, and we're very, very proud of it. But I just love it when my staff gets one, just because they're the future, And I've always said that as much as I like managing the properties, and I get that's important, obviously, but it was like when I met Gaylord Nelson, and Gaylord was inspiring to me, and Earth Day and everything that he did. So I'm here, and I think that's part of my responsibility. The gold medal is really about managing, and we do so much with so little, and it really is a testament to the team. The team that we've got together that works for the parks, they're dedicated, they're passionate, they live here too. They always go above and beyond. Park people are kind of weird that way. We're like this different breed that we don't punch out, because you're like the administrator during the working hours, and then nights and weekends, that's when everybody's using your parks. And so we go out and you want to see them in action and just to make them better. The strategic plan, when I first got here, I said, what we should do, well, first of all, the strategic plans, I think they should be very simple. So I said kids, the environment, and accountability, and anything we could do to mentor that next generation to taking care of their own environment, if you will, I think is so important, especially in urban areas. So that's one of the things that we really tried to focus on. You eat, live, and breathe it, and sometimes you just kind of have to step back. The favorite, it has to be when you're at an event, or you go down to Bradford Beach, and some person on the beach has no idea who I am, but you're sitting back and I'm watching everybody just have a ball, and feeling like they're on vacation when it's a beautiful day and you're on a beach with a cabana, and I sit back and I'm like, oh my gosh, we did it. You go to the domes and you go to Music Under Glass, and here you see 1,200 people on a Thursday night where before there was nobody, and you see people having fun in a world-class, one-of-a-kind facility. I think that's wonderful. Here at Grant, we have Friday night fish fries. You see people coming to the park for a fish fry and enjoying just the views and the trees and just kind of being in the environment of the golf course. So just seeing people use their parks, I guess, is the best. I think it's those quiet spaces when you're back in the middle of the woods on a trail that nobody really knows about. For instance, up at the Seven Bridges, right up the road, there's just so many different areas back in there that you'd think you're way up north. It is that respite that people that go, they should take their families and go for a walk, and you just see what's out there. And just walking these southern beaches, that's one of the things that Bradford's been so successful. I kind of want to have Bradford south. We've got Bender and Grant here, and South Shore, and to see what we can do to make those better beaches and then market them and get more people in the activities, down to the southern part of the county. But my favorite one is, it's basically by what you're doing, and then, but I like those nice quiet spots too. When you look at our list of assets, that it's not just the city of Milwaukee, it's Milwaukee County, and you look at the Oak Leaf Trail and the Hank Aaron Trail that goes through it, and 150 parks, 15 golf courses, 2 marinas, the swimming pools, just the pocket parks, if you will, for neighborhoods. It's such, the domes, the Burnover Dam. I mean, the list goes, it's amazing, isn't it? So I just hope that everybody uses it and embraces it and realizes that every community doesn't have this.
Well, thank you. And let's go check out the Seven Bridges Trail here at Grant Park. The Seven Bridges Trail began at the start of the 20th century. Frederick Wolf was the first superintendent of the Milwaukee County Parks. He used to live in what is today the Overnight Lodge. He grew many trees and other plants that are not native to this area in his nursery. trail was advanced in the 1930s. As part of the Works Progress Administration project, they constructed retaining walls along the creek and created paths and stairs made of stone. This is the hidden beach at Graham Park. Many people have visited this park and have missed out on a secluded part of the trail. Well, this concludes our journey of the Milwaukee County Park System. Milwaukee is truly a wonderful place. There are so many attractions that it's really hard to decide exactly what to do. My hope is that you'll embrace the gifts of nature harnessed by the Milwaukee County Park System. I'm Ricky Jacobo, and I'll see you down Scenic Path.